Let's take a more detailed look at Libya. I'm delighted to say that I'm joined in this studio by the distinguished analyst Adel Darwish. He's a London-based veteran political journalist specialising in foreign affairs. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
I mean, let's pick up on these comments that he made about Islamic State. I mean, he's being very dismissive. If they're that easy to remove, then why hasn't it happened?
Well, I think I'm puzzled actually by his comments. It's not actually the number of the Islamic State's fighters. They are very determined. They appear behind you. They're not actually fight like a normal war. And also, a small number of them can actually control area. I mean, if you see how they take down like Sirte, or how they take actually Ramadi against the Iraqi army, they will have about a dozen of suicide bombs in trucks and create confusion and identity. And once you actually are there in an urban area, you cannot dislodge them, even with the bombardment we have seen in Iraq. And the danger with Libya is not only they control actually the roads to the Mediterranean, because actually you see people there, the smugglers take them from boats all the way from Turkey, and then they congregate in Libya because that's a failed state and easy. The second point is they try to threaten Egypt as well. So very soon we're going to see the Egyptian Air Force and Egyptian Army engaged there, which is going to add to the confusion and anarchy in Libya.
Sure, which is something I'd like to address a little bit later on in the time available. But Islamic State militants, they've already captured Sirte Airport. We are going to have a map, hopefully, coming up on the screen, which will give us an idea about the territory they've taken so far. But here it is, so the animation coming up. And there you have it. Sirte over there with the jihadists which under jihadist control. So what are the other territories they're looking to take strategically?
Well, I think what they take, so Libya is mainly a desert, but you have quite a few roads there. First of all, there's a big pipeline which actually supplies water from the south oasis into the northern part, so they're going to threaten the water supply. Part of the water supply actually was destroyed during the NATO campaign, so there's already water shortage there. Secondly, you get actually this coastal road there. There aren't that many infrastructures in Libya, so they can actually cut it. And you can see from the colors there, because Libya originally was actually 3 states, and then after World War II,
of one man.
Well, it was actually King Idris Senussi that united them after World War II and Libya created, but now it's actually falling apart again. Then who can we deal with when we try to get the security of these migrants there? Not just the human tragedy of people drowning, it's also the terrorists that might be hiding in these spots.
Sure. Now, you talked about Egypt originally because there have been reports pointing to the beginnings of an Egyptian-led operation. So where is the evidence of this? Are we talking about jockeying going on behind the scenes here?
Well, I think so far, we had the air raids a few months ago when the Islamic State captured Egyptians, mainly Christians, and slaughtered them, and they actually symbolically...
Ethiopian Coptic Christians.
Yes, well, and Egyptians as well. And they let the blood run into the Mediterranean, and the guy was actually pointing, say, Europe, we're coming after you. So the Egyptians had their air raids. They actually had their intelligence there, but they're having some undercover combat operation there. Again, that's a limited effect. They're trying to snatch their leaders.
Sure.
But I think they're mainly trying to put some devices and some people to guide a future air raids to enable them to avoid casualties among civilians and target the terrorists themselves.
But presumably they wouldn't be doing this alone. They would have other partners in the operation. So who are the likely allies that they would have on board?
Well, the likely allies will be the United Arab Emirates, probably the Saudis. We're not quite sure now after the new king, is he going to commit to the same cooperation or not, but I think he will.
Given that he's tied up in Yemen.
Well, the Egyptians are helping them in Yemen, so
reciprocation.
Reciprocation there. And then probably also we will see some parts of the Libyan themselves that were fighting under General Haftar, part of the army, Libyan army there, still got some allegiance to the Egyptian, will go there. And
this is under Operation Dignity for General Haftar.
Yeah, General Haftar's there. So that we're going to see it. But as I said, you know, how much is actually it's legitimate for the Egyptians to do under Article 51, it is still going to be messy because it's still a foreign intervention in another country, which is already a failed state.
But this is the point. It is foreign intervention, but these those intervening are from within the Middle East region. What about beyond that? Are we likely to see European countries getting involved by perhaps supplying equipment, perhaps supplying strategic advice, etc.?
Well, the Foreign Office people actually here and the government is non-lethal equipment, helping aid and so on, but really that doesn't help much. I think nobody's got a stomach for sending troops and intervention. We have seen it so many times again. It was that intervention without actually strategic plan, what happened after Gaddafi, that led to this disaster in Libya. I think the best is to be done is sort of naval operation in the Mediterranean and targeting the people, the smugglers, because that would stop the influx of migrants there into Libya, and at least we can reduce the casualties and the human suffering in that particular section.
So it's one way that they're all interconnected, but sadly time goes against us. But as ever, a comprehensive analysis. What can we expect from you?
Thank you very much.
Adel Darwish, thank you. Thank you.